William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Godmothers, a novel by Camille Aubray. Performed by Lisa Flanagan and Saskia Maarleveld.
Prologue. Nicole. New York, April 1980. I never needed to ask my godmother for a favor until the day that my husband was offered a job at the White House. It was April in 1980, and James and I had been living in New York for only a year. We'd met each other in Paris and gotten married there, but since both of us were American-born, we always thought of the United States as our home. So we were glad to be back. I thought our lives were pretty settled now, here in Manhattan. I was working as a news researcher for Time Inc., while James practiced law. But one bright spring day, James announced, "I've just had a very interesting chat with Cyrus Vance. He wants me to come work with him in Washington at the State Department." "The Secretary of State wants you?" I echoed, awed. As with all important decisions, we discussed this over a candlelit dinner at our favorite restaurant. "It won't be an easy job, with President Carter smack in the middle of this hostage crisis in Iran," James admitted. "Mr. Vance is a good negotiator, but there's a lot of infighting going on right now in the White House. And Vance, poor guy, has got a bad case of gout, so he's gone to Florida to recover. He told me to go home and discuss this job offer with the wife." I rolled my eyes. "I suppose I'm lucky that he didn't say the little wife," I groused. James grinned. "Vance wants my answer when he returns from his vacation. If we say yes, they'll do an FBI background check. It's strictly routine. But they will look into everything about you and me. Our friends, families, work, everyone who knows us well. Vance says it's best to tell him up front whatever he should know, just so there are no surprises." "Meaning what?" I asked, not grasping the situation at first. "Oh, you know. They have to investigate to see if there's anything from our relatives' past that could make me vulnerable to blackmail, that sort of thing. I told him my family are modest folks, and I've never known any people as honest and good as your family." There in the flickering candlelight, he kissed me in a husbandly, appreciative way that made me feel especially well-loved. "So don't worry. It all looks like smooth sailing ahead," he concluded. Then he contented himself with finishing off his bœuf bourguignon, and I nodded. But all this talk of investigating my family alarmed me, although I couldn't say why. It was just an inexplicably uneasy feeling creeping over me, as if shadowy phantoms lurked in my peripheral vision, but if I turned to see them head-on, they instantly retreated into the dark corners from whence they came. I took a quick gulp of red wine to steady myself. Not long afterwards, we visited my mother in the Westchester suburbs. When James went out early one morning to play some tennis with a friend who lived nearby, I decided to dispense with the little question that was still nagging at me. I told my mother about the job offer and asked point-blank, "Does our family have any skeletons in the closet?" It was the expression on her face, rather than her words, that gave me pause. She blushed and glanced away quickly, looking slightly guilty, before she recovered and said, "Not really. Certainly not in your time. But why would your husband want to go to Washington? Your brothers think President Carter is in a real fix with this hostage situation in Iran." My older brothers were prone to making such dire pronouncements at Thanksgiving dinners. Today I had to agree that the times were not auspicious, but at the moment I wasn't concerned with politics. It was family history that mattered. I tried to learn more, but I knew my mother well enough to realize that I would never really get a detailed answer from her. Moreover, something in her quick, furtive look stirred that strange feeling of dread in me again. This time I was determined to find out why. So after Mom hurried off to an appointment with her hairdresser, I decided that the only person who could help me was my godmother. She lived right next door, in this secluded seaside enclave of just...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?